Welcome to episode 206 of Gun Guy Radio. This is a podcast that shines a positive light on the firearms lifestyle. I'm your host, Jake Challen. This is your weekly dose of positive firearms talk without the politics. We have a great guest this week, Abs of House of Guns and House of Arms. Hey, Abs.
Hey Jake, glad to be here. I like how when you greet me like that, it we act like we haven't been talking for a half hour before we went on air.
And now you just ruined it. Thanks. Amazon. You can shop with our Amazon affiliate link to help make this show possible. Bookmark firearmsradio.tv/Amazon. Click that every time you shop. Some of you shop a lot for your business too, or your place of employment. So please feel free to use the Amazon affiliate link there too. It really helps out the network and really helps keep pro gun shows like Gun Guy Radio coming at you. So, Ebs, week in review. Did you do anything in guns in the last week or two?
I built a couple ground up single shot Thompson center guns and did a bunch of trigger jobs, but I haven't got to pull a trigger that wasn't dry firing this week. No, kind of depressing actually.
That's quite a bit though. Cool.
Yeah, and I listed a couple rifles for sale on Gunbroker. So
was one previously used in a self-defense scenario?
No, neither of them were. The one is a Mossberg MVP Patrol, so it's a 7.62 bolt action. Those are actually really interesting guns because they created these bolt action guns that will take AR pattern mags, and the 7.62 will actually take like a DPMS AR-10 mag, and it will also take M1A magazines.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize they made a 308 version. Huh.
Yeah. So the MVP 5.56 were the original ones they did with AR mags, and those are okay because they don't work really great with P mags or really any polymer magazine. They have a hard time seating, but they work great with like Colt magazines or the OK, the OK mags. Mm-hmm. And so then they came out with this one, and it works amazing with polymer, but the 308 P mags.
Really?
So yeah, interesting gun. Not as accurate as the 5.56 model, and I think it's a rate of twist issue. But a neat gun, and then the other one that I listed is a Savage B mag. That's the 17 Winchester Super Magnum. It's a super hot little rimfire. So it's like taking a 17 HMR and putting it on an HGH for a few months, and it runs a little heavier bullet faster, but it's still a rimfire. And that gun was awful. So
really?
Yeah. Terrible, like 2-inch groups at 100, and which is frustrating because I have a Savage 17 HMR that's like you could put 10 shots and cover at 100 yards and cover it with a dime.
Wow.
And this one's just trash. The whole system. So needless to say, I'm not selling it for much. But
you think you got a limit, or you think they're just kind of like that?
It was a first model BMAG, and they've since come out with some. They've come out with heavier barrel models of that. So I don't know if that means it's a heavier bolt too, but the bolt was just. I don't know. It felt like I was taking a soda straw and trying to chamber the round, with it, and then they've since come out with the AMAGs, which are. Like Savage has the auto mags now with their own. It's a rimfire auto loading system for 17 HMR and 22 WMR, and I haven't owned one. I shot them at range day and shot show, and they wouldn't feed, and the accuracy was kind of meh. I was just kind of trying to figure out what happened because Savage. I don't know. I've like I said, I have the 17 HMR. Growing up, I had a 22 mag that I killed coyotes with all day long, and then I've got a Savage Mark II FVSR 22 long rifle that's suppressor ready, and it's it's like 30 to 50 yards, quarter size groups or smaller nickel size groups. And when I say groups, I mean 5 to 10 shots through that gun, suppressed or unsuppressed. So I'm kind of going, what do we do here, guys? I know that round is new and exciting, the 17 WSM, but I don't know. It was disappointing. So, and honestly, this is a year ago. So I tested it, was so disappointed with it, and it was like in the safe for that time. Cleaned it, put away, still had the box, and I was like, I'm just gonna sell that. And then I forgot about it for a year until like 3 days ago. So yeah, good times.
Cool. Well, I had a first this week. I went out shooting with my 2 older kids for the first time.
Oh.
Having them shoot for the first time. My 6-year-old and 5-year-old. So 6-year-old son, he got it down. I mean, he started. We of course went over all the safety. And we've done this before, go over the basic 4 rules of safety and all that. And I explained, I got a little 22 cricket for them.
Oh, that's perfect.
So single shot 22. And I actually, I didn't even use 22. I used 22 shorts. So we didn't have to have Hearing Pro on.
Nice.
And that really helps because it's really hard to find good Hearing Pro for kids that little.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I had it there because later I was shooting my AR and stuff, and they got in the truck and watched me. But so yeah, went over the gun safety rules, and then I kind of talked to him before about the whole lining up of the sights and all of that whole concept, and he's got Nerf guns and stuff, but like you don't do any of that with those. So, but he wasn't like real interested about the sight picture and stuff before, so I didn't know how that was going to go. So I explained it again, and he's very like hands-on kid. Like he wants to try it out and do just
let
me go, Dad. So I let I was right there with him, and he started popping pop cans just a few shots in. So
nice.
And yeah, a look on his face the first time. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, he loved it immediately, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
What about the 5-year-old? How he do?
So my daughter, yeah. So I, that's a little tiny gun, but it still was a little too big for her.
Yeah.
So,
but was it resting, or did you have him do it standing?
So it was really wet out. So I didn't bring anything so I could do it laying down. I know some people do, like they'll set up like folding chairs and have them lie under the folding chair so they can't move the rifle anywhere but straight ahead. But no, I had them do it standing because I was right there almost holding the kid. But they did good. I mean, but yeah, my daughter, she was not quite big enough yet. So I just sweetie, let's I'll hold it, I'll aim it for you, and I'll let you pop a few cans, and then she was done after that. So I think next year for her, but at least she got some of the experience.
Yeah, man, that's cool. I'm glad you did that. And the cricket's awesome because not only is it just as simple as can be, but it has additional safety features, where you have to, once you chamber the round, you have to cock it, behind the bolt too. And, they get those steps that you take. And so it's a great one to learn on.
Yeah. I didn't really even think about that buying it, but that is a really nice extra, I guess, safety feature and step. And, but like my son was all over it. So I was putting in, because it's kind of hard, to put that shell in even for that age. So I was putting the 22 short in for him, but I was having him, run the action. I was having him cock it and everything, and doing the, off the trigger to ready to shoot. Cause even at that age, he's like, I want to get on that trigger right away.
Right.
Try,
Yeah.
try.
Isn't
I
it
mean,
funny how the finger just goes to it?
yeah, yeah. And then I had my dad come out and shoot a little bit later, and I had to yell at him about his finger. So,
Did you actually yell at your father?
sometimes,
Gosh,
finger, Dad,
sure.
finger.
Get it off the trigger, old man. Oh, jeez. Yeah, it's just a natural thing. You think no, in I think that's why you see it on movies so much, where uh, folks are, they grab a pistol and the finger immediately goes to the trigger. Not like indexed, it's on the trigger, because
Right.
you just have that plan in your mind that, oh well, I've seen that, this is how this works, or this is how it needs to work. So yeah, it's good stuff.
But I think I like another reason I like. We only shot pop cans, and I wanted something kind of reactive,
Uh,
immediate feedback. And I also like doing the pop cans because we we shot a few, or actually shot a few to make sure that I hadn't shot that gun before. I want to make sure the sights are on. And so I'm like, so kids, come here. Let's look at these pop cans. This is what this weapon can do. And the pop cans all shredded themselves. They're like, whoa. I'm like, yeah,
whoa.
yeah, this can really hurt someone, hurt, anything this goes into. I really try to drill home that, never point this at anything you're not willing to destroy, because it will destroy it. So
Yeah, man, good for you. This was the first time.
the first time,
Man, that's a big deal.
I mean, they've been to the range when I was shooting, but yeah, their
Right.
first time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. My youngest, I might get booed off your show forever for this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. My youngest, none of us. I was the first one in my family to be interested in shooting, and my dad had kind of done a little bit, sort of just like to be with friends that did, but he wasn't into it. And so, I was 9 when I was allowed to shoot a pellet gun for the first time, like a pneumatic pump it up type deal, like a
Right.
Benjamin air rifle. And so nobody knew how young you could start teaching kids about guns. And you've seen my videos with, I call her Little Ebs in the videos, my oldest daughter. um, she's going to be 10 next month, and she's been shooting with her finger on a trigger since she was 4 years old.
Wow.
She's proficient now at this point, and so we start a couple years ago, started introducing her to different platforms, took her to the range, introduced her to ARs. But my first time with her, we were at a friend's house, and he had some a spot out behind his house, woods everywhere, nobody, within earshot even. And I had a 38 special that I was carrying at the time, and I was going to run some rounds through it. And my wife at the time was just kind of standing back behind with my oldest daughter, my only daughter at the time. She was like, dude, she was 2.5 years old. Okay. And I don't know, it's like February or something of 2009. And we're out there, and I'm, running it, practicing reloads, stuff like that. And she said, this little bitty chubby cheek kid is like, I want to try. And I was like, we're like looking at each other like, well, how do you? And so she was so interested. So what I did was I sat down on the ground, and I sat with my legs crossed, and I let her sit inside of my legs, and I held it out away from my body, because I wanted her to feel, when on a stubby pistol like that, you can feel it on your face.
Mm-hmm.
You can feel that shot impact on your face. And but I wanted her to understand, I guess, my thought process at that point in time was, I wanted her to understand the danger, like you were talking about. You shot that can, you showed them before even giving them an opportunity to have their finger on the trigger.
Right.
This is a tool with the potential for destruction. And I wanted her to understand that, it wasn't a friendly little 22. And I was running pretty vanilla loads in it at the time. They weren't like self-defense loads or anything. So I popped off around. She had earmuffs on, people, by the way. She had earmuffs on, and I popped off around, and she said that was cool, and so I emptied the cylinder, fired the rest of the rounds. I did it again. I said, "Would you like to put your hands on it?" So I let her. And this is, please, no one call child services. Had a super soft rubber grip, so I put her hands inside of mine, and then wrapped mine over, and then had her. I said, "Okay, push your arms out as far as you can." She listened, she followed instruction. And when the kid wasn't stubborn in the presence of that, I knew that she was developing already. She was starting to develop a respect. Now, could she understand? Could I just be like, "Here, take this pistol and fire at will"? No, never. But I shot 2 rounds. I shot 2 rounds with her hands on it. I had a full grip on it. But I wanted her to feel the power. I wanted her to see. Now, she didn't have another opportunity to shoot even her own little cricket 22 for another couple years. But I think it's important for people to understand. Even as we go into talk about gun safes and stuff, I think it's important for people to understand the value of teaching kids about that power, about teaching them about the potential for that tool and what it's capable of. Because if they learn to respect it right off the bat, then that's one of the biggest safety battles I think you can ever teach.
Absolutely. So, well, we should get into the main topic. We're going to do, I think you said you want to come on. We're going to do an episode about taking kids shooting. So
yeah, right. I always sort of breach that a little bit, and that's not, I don't mean to just, I'm just passionate about it because I really don't, I think people think, one, you're crazy if you do it at a young age, and two, that that kids don't have the capacity to comprehend. And I think they probably have the capacity to give it a healthy respect more than most adults do that are learning the first time.
Right.
So yeah, we can save that.
So Patriot Patch helps make this episode possible. We just got some new ones in stock. Our I don't know if I should share this after talking about kids and guns, but
you definitely should.
Don't keep calm and just kill them all. Patch is in stock.
Well, I mean,
so the only thing John F. Kennedy said, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is that good men do nothing. So that's in stock at patriotpatch.co, and we're gonna have some new pre-orders coming out this week too, so stay tuned for that. We have the sci-fi 2-pack. If you're a fan of the TV series Firefly, we have 2-pack patches coming out, so you can pre-order those. patriotpatch.co. Main topic this week: gun storage myths exposed. This week on 60 Minutes. We're going to blow up some Chevy pickup trucks with those bad gas tanks. No, not really. So, well, actually, speaking of kids, that's the first little segment here I have. Kids and guns myths, storage myths associated with kids and guns. I have a few bullet points here. I'll just go right through them. I can just hide my gun from my kids. It's better that they don't know I have a gun, or I can put it up high, out of their reach, up high, out of the kids' reach.
Are these true or false? Is that what we're doing with these?
I'm just throwing them out there. I mean, you hear these all the time, right?
Yeah. Obviously, you can always hide things from your kids for a time, right? But they catch on. They know. They snoop. They lurk. Kids are like spies in training, really.
Right.
I remember. Oh my gosh, I can't keep telling these stories on the show. It's like what not to do growing up. But yeah. My dad kept this was before gun safes really. Remember the gun cabinet, like the display cabinet, like that was going to deter anyone looking to steal your firearms. A nice glass display case. The glass
Right.
wasn't even tempered; it was like a raw annealed glass. You
Right.
could shatter it with like a shoe. Um, but before that, my dad had two guns. I'll never forget. He had about a 1977, 78 Ithaca Model 37 featherweight. Um, and he had the safe. He thought he was left-handed actually at the time. He thought he was left-eye dominant. He had the safety switch to left hand, so from right hand to left hand safety flipped, and then he had a an 1896, 1896. It was a 1918 made Swedish Mauser. So it was a 6.5 Swede, all original, everything. He traded that in for an awful 300 Win Mag years later, by the way, if you want to really be depressed.
Oh
But
man.
he had those two guns, and they were hidden behind his shirts, his hanging shirts, in their bedroom closet, both of them. No ammo with them, so there was that at least. But they were hidden, you know, sort of surreptitiously, and they were sure that I didn't know where they were. And one day, he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be going duck hunting tomorrow morning," and I was like, "Oh, I'll go get your gun." And I went and got the shotgun. And my mom was like, "Did he know where those were all along?" And I don't remember how I found them. I don't remember. No, they definitely didn't tell me where they were. Um, but then, yeah, the discussion about locks started after that. So kids just find stuff, and the out of their reach thing. How many times do we see on the news about a kid that gets into the top of a closet, like finds a way to make themselves taller, to climb up and get dad's handgun out of the closet and shoots the neighbor kid in the face?
Well, that's my thing when people always say, "Oh, they're up high." I'm like, kids can't climb. The kids can't find a chair. I don't
I mean,
understand.
they are like professional level tree climbers.
I know, right?
We watch them outside, and you're like, look at how high that kid is in that tree. We're gonna have to call the fire department. And then inside, like magically, 7 feet is too high for a kid to reach.
Right.
Give me a break. Just because there's no limbs there for them to step on doesn't mean they can't get up there.
So, it's better that they don't even know I have a gun. That's you almost hear some anti-gunners. We don't talk politics on this show, but you almost hear some anti-gunners, have that concept that, well, if you're gonna have a gun in the house, you better have it secured, locked away, and don't let the kids know about it.
Right.
Because somehow that's going to make them be safe.
Well, yeah, and I don't know. I still think they find out. It might not be something you bring up ever, but they might have seen you put it away or had an eye on it or something like that, and or they stumble upon it. Right? What if you hide it in a bad place, or it's not in a vault-like locking safe, and they stumble across it, and then once you see it, because how many kids have seen guns on TV, whether they've seen you own one or not? Are they immediately curious about how it works and if they can make it work?
Well, it's like there's been some TV news things where they've put a bunch of kids in a room and they either put a gun out in front of them or they hid it. And then like all the parents are shocked about how all the kids are pointing the guns at each other and shooting each other, pulling the trigger and stuff. And then the last one I saw, there's two kids that didn't touch it, didn't go near it, and those were the only two kids that their parents were gun owners and had gone over gun safety with those kids.
Right. I mean, my youngest daughter's 5 years old, and she just shot me with a potato chip gun. That she chewed a potato chip into a gun, and was like, "I'm shooting you, Dad." I was like, "Oh, you got me. Take it easy." I mean, they've seen it, even though you don't think they have. And if you're gonna be a gun owner, it's wise to educate them about it. So, I mean, what's to say they're not at at a friend's house, and the friend hasn't taken the same precautions that you have, and their kid knows where it is, and they pull it out. I mean, you want your kid to be the one to go, no, put it down. We shouldn't be handling this, and then go get an adult.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I go over all the time with my kids. What do you do if you see a gun? They're like, don't touch it. Go get mom and dad. And I pray
Nice.
that if they're ever at a friend's house, they do the same thing.
Yeah.
So let's get into gun storage. More of the not really a gun safe category. A lot of places where people store guns: fire safes, document safes, closet, dresser, cabinet. Could go on and on. And those are like the just things people use as gun safes, but they're not necessarily marketed as gun safes. And then there's the other items, solutions that are marketed as gun storage solutions, but they're not really safes. They're more cabinets or whatnot, or other things like many of the stack on steel cabinets or safes, bedside holsters, or like the bedside backup and stuff like that. Then there's like in wall, where you can cut out your drywall between your studs and put this in wall steel cabinet in there.
I think those are cool, by the way.
I do too. And gun storage furniture, that this has been like exploding. All these companies that make these clocks that you know where the hidden magnet is.
Like you walk into somebody's house and you go, oh, there's a gun in there.
Yeah, right.
There's definitely you have better taste than that. That's not for decoration. There's a gun. Or like the rugged American flag, that isn't just it's not just like made from an old wood pallet. It's like got a box behind it, and you're like, yeah, you love freedom. There's a gun in there.
Right.
I'm not going to ask you, but I'm assuming there's a gun in there.
So, and most of those open with a magnetic child lock, similar to a cabinet. We have these on our kitchen cabinets, very similar. And then other metal. There's a million companies that make a million different metal gun lockers.
I call those travel through Illinois gun safes. Because of you guys' vehicle fun laws.
Yes.
For out-of-staters.
Yes.
What is it? It's stored in a lock case away from ammunition in the car.
Well, and you have to have the ammunition in. Well, you can have it on a bag, but I don't think you can have it rolling around.
I mean, listen, if I'm a carjacker,
you have to have each round individually Ziploc bagged.
Is that true now? Is that how it is? Because I would believe it. I mean, if I'm a carjacker in Illinois, I'm roaming I-70 and what is it, 55? Those are two big ones in there. And I'm roaming those, and I'm looking for out-of-state plates because it's a heyday.
Yeah, abs on another life. So let's talk about these gun storage solutions that aren't really gun storage solutions, like fire safes. I mean, actually, to be honest, that was my first. When I turned 21, as a young married guy, I bought a handgun, and because I could, but a stack on or Sentry. It was like a Sentry fire safe. We already had it for documents, so why not put the gun in there? One of the things I found out later, I didn't have this problem with my fire safe, but a lot of those fire safes retain moisture. And I had a buddy that he had a M&P pistol that he kept in there, and just after a month or so, is all this surface rust on it because that fire safe retained moisture like crazy.
Gosh.
So that could be a downside of fire safes, and a lot of these gun storage solutions are marketed gun storage metal cabinets. None of these are safe from criminals. All of these are easily walked away with or pried open in a minute or less.
Isn't that the best with those? They're like you could just carry the whole safe
Right.
and be like, well, I've got some wedges. I'll just take a heavy hammer and a wedge and pop this baby open later. See what I might find. Some
Right.
passports.
Well, and some people are like, "Oh, this fire safe, it's so heavy. I don't need to bolt it down. Who's going to take this? Who's going to take this out of here?"
Have you actually heard people say that?
Yeah.
I've never heard anybody say that.
My,
Was it a woman? Because and I don't. Sorry, ladies, but I mean, I can't imagine a dude like trying to be macho, going, "Oh, it's so heavy. I can't manage carrying this away." No, you're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I would walk away with this in like 10 seconds, even if it weighs 150 pounds." Like, oh yeah, one arm, just running down the street, sidewalk, no problem.
yeah.
Because I haven't heard anybody say that, and I'm calling you on it.
Okay, it was me. It was
It
me.
was you that said it. Nobody'll take this. It's heavy. And once we put the handgun in, it'll weigh twice as much. Oh, it's brutal.
So, so you had mentioned your parents' closet. I got closet in here. A lot of these places aren't necessarily ideal. I'm not saying. A lot of this depends on who you are. If you're a single guy that never has kids around or anything like that, a lot of these solutions might, of course, they won't protect you from criminals, but they might work for you. But myself as a father of 4, soon to be 5, a lot of these give me pause because I know they're not kid safe.
Yeah.
So
yeah. No, take extra steps to protect your kids too.
So marketed gun storage solutions like the steel cabinets and stuff, bedside. What do you think of the bedside holsters that you see?
It's better than under your pillow.
I guess so. We've had stories on This Week in Guns too about people shooting their significant other while sleeping with a gun under their pillow.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't see really using one of those with kids. I don't know. Because sometimes I'm just such a heavy sleeper. I don't know. I don't think I would personally use one. I don't think I would personally leave a gun on a nightstand like some people do.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of the? There's a lot of storage solutions that will go in a nightstand. Either in the drawer or on the bottom part.
Well, here's the deal. You have this really fine line, and hopefully listeners will understand this. And if you're not completely tracking with what I'm trying to say, try to put yourself in this scenario where let's say even go as far as say you're a concealed carry permit holder and you carry a firearm most every day as you are able to. But when it comes to at home, like, well, okay, I got my kids here. I will say during waking hours, carry concealed in your house. Have your firearm available to you. If something goes down where somebody comes busting in the door, just let's keep it as random as possible. You get the idea. You need your firearm. You don't want to have to run to the bedroom to get it. It's like seconds
Right.
count. Seconds count. So,
Yeah.
Maybe consider that mindset, or have somewhere that's safe, available, maybe lockable out of sight or something like that. That would be similar to that in terms of speed and reaction, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. At the same time, at night, things that go bump in the night, you want to be able to have something close to grab. Consider different options that are safe, but maybe it's the type of thing where you just, let's say your wife is a stay-at-home mom, if you're married, or your kids are home by themselves at some point during the day, maybe the place that you keep your firearm available to you at night isn't the place that it stays all day. Maybe it's the same concealed carry firearm that you use. Maybe it's a different gun that you choose to defend your home with. Should it come to that, and it needs to be a secure enough solution that if there are wandering feet and roaming hands during the day, that it's safe and keeps those around safe also. So I think things like that are good options. I also think that in a defensive situation, you want to eliminate steps. Eliminate things that you have to do under stress in order to be able to arm yourself. So I think there are some fine lines. There's links down below in the show notes about biometric safes and breaking into gun safes and stuff like that. And the basic idea is there are options that are better than just throwing a gun in a drawer or keeping it on top of your nightstand if there are other people around. So I think they are options. I don't think they're the only option, but like I said, as to the bedside mattress holster, it's better than putting it under your pillow. So you really have to cautiously and with real thought consider your own situation, and don't consider your own situation and just if your kids haven't been instructed on behavior around firearms or the gravity of those. Don't just assume when they see it. Notice I said when and not if they see it, that they're just going to do the right thing. Take those extra precautions. Take those extra steps. Think intelligently about all the scenarios, what could happen, how to be effective, and how to be safe, and at the same time, how to eliminate steps. I think it's just it's kind of a whole tightrope thing, where there's pitfalls on either side that you have to walk and just really be aware of.
Yeah, well said. And let's go to the end wall lockers. I don't know if you're serious or not when you said you like those.
Oh, I think they're cool. Yeah.
But that's one. So we have, like you said, we have a bunch of links in the show that show how easy it is to open. Not just these cabinets, but to open some of these are high-end safes. Some of these are $1,000 plus safes. How easy it is to open a lot of these. So the criminal element, given enough time, they're probably going to take or break into anything you have. To an extent, I mean, I'm sure there's some Fort Knox solution that you could set up in your home.
Right. Yeah.
So the in-wall lockers, though, the cool thing about that is that you could probably hide those where, you got a picture of Kramer or something hanging over them, where they wouldn't be super, super easy to spot, like some of that gun furniture.
Furniture, yeah.
So I do like the idea of those.
Well, it kind of goes along with the old adage, hidden in plain sight. If you can find solutions that go along with that, and that even where it's not even just to open it, but there's some sort of trick that keeps the kids from just being able to open it easily or something, should they come across it. If heaven forbid they find it. And then another thing that I think about with issues like that is, so let's take the kids out of it for a minute and just go in terms of security of keeping your possessions safe from somebody intending to either do your family harm or to take what is yours. It's kind of like the car thing when you talk about your car being stolen or your car being broken into and things being stolen. It sort of comes down to what they can see. Things that are visible and things that are obvious cause those burglars, those criminals to break in. It's a matter of, like, for instance, if someone were in your house, and I know we're getting extreme now, but that's the whole purpose of talking about the security and locking up your stuff. Find ways to, if they're looking to get in and get out fast, if your things are hidden well or misleading or just not going to be something that can be grabbed off the top of nightstand or a dresser or a coffee table or something like that, then there's a chance that maybe there's not time. I mean, what are the odds? And I'm hopefully not knocking on wood by saying this, but what are the odds that any of us are in danger of some real type of like Italian job heist, in our house, for instance? But it's funny you said that about Fort Knox safe a minute ago. Um, do you remember that?
Yeah, there's an
Okay,
actual
okay,
Fort
okay,
Knox
yeah,
safe
yeah.
company, right?
No, well, you said that,
Oh,
and I have a buddy who just finished building a house. This incredible house. It's like I'll go over to visit, and we'll do some reloading, or we'll really ends up he needs my help moving something, but he built into his basement. He built this vault uh, into the foundation. It has 2 foot thick walls. Okay, it's so big, and he bought a Fort Knox front wall / door combo, and it weighs, just that alone weighs 1,400 pounds.
wow.
It is incredible. It took like 6 of us moved it together to move it in place for them to mount it, and it's so smooth. It looks nice. It's got like all these LED lights built in, so there's like mood lighting on the front of his vault door. Um, yeah, it's pretty cool. So there's some super sick high tech stuff out there if you're willing to pay for it, and some people are and can even not
If you're
just all.
willing to build your house around it, yes.
Oh, it's so cool, dude. 2 foot, and I even asked him. I was like, "Roy, can I take pictures of like these walls? Can I see, or can I just, he's like, I'd rather you didn't. I mean, that's before we had the vault door up, anything like that. I was like, man, these walls are 2 feet thick. I've seen this on movies, okay? And that's it. He's like, I know, that's where I got the idea. He said, you know how much extra I spent on the concrete for the foundation? I said, I don't even want to know. Don't tell me, because it'll just make me depressed.
That's incredible.
Yeah, pretty cool.
So then we can get into real safes here: fire resistant gun safes, fire/flood resistant, and no safe is really fireproof. They all have a fire rating.
They have a burn rating, how long they can last at a certain temperature. That's important too.
Well, and that's the hard thing there. A lot of them vary what temperature. You're like, how hot is my house going to burn? How do I know this?
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. Like the hotter the temperature, 1,400 degrees. I think the one that I have here is, and I'll show my cards a little bit. It's like a 56 gun safe, and it has a 1,400 degree rating for 40 minutes, and it's also flood proof. Like, it's a waterproof unit also, because you never know when a tsunami is going to hit, or
Right.
and I've got temperature control inside of it with the dehumidifiers and stuff, and just because, and I'm fortunate in Colorado, it's so dry here. uh, you almost don't need it. I won't say you will, but you almost don't need the dehumidifier stuff. So the point is, with those kind of ratings, if you can go overkill, and I always subtract from that. It's like camping sleeping bags. For instance, if I see a sleeping bag that tells me it's rated to 20 degrees Fahrenheit, I assume I'll be comfortable to 30 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't believe that 20-degree rating, okay? And because that's probably like if you have base layers and outer layers and things, when you climb into the bag, that's the determining factor. Oh, and by the way, it doesn't work if you're laying directly on the ground with the sleeping bag. You have to have one of our foam rest pads to get you elevated off the earth, because that drains your body temperature, et cetera, et cetera. So I assume with safes that it's a similar principle as the sleeping bag. So if it tells me it can hold my inner belongings safe at 1,400 degrees for 40 minutes, I assume like 1,200 degrees for 30 minutes. That's what, because this is all, what are you going to do? Test it to like prove?
Right.
Is that going to be the next like gun review channel fad? I review gun safes, and I'm going to destroy these mothers. Like, how do you get it that high? Like, take a garage, build a garage in the middle of nowhere, fill it full of stumps, and then put the gun safe in the middle, full of like extremely flammable and weak steel stuff that hasn't been heat treated well, and then put like a turkey, one of those turkey thermometers for Thanksgiving in the oven to test the inside temperature. There's no way to know.
No, you got to like up the ante. You got to put a midget in it with a live feed.
Oh, you can't say midget,
No.
Jake. You are a typical bigoted Midwesterner, and now all little people who are firearms enthusiasts have completely X'd the Firearms Radio Network off. So this is a good time to remind our listeners that all views expressed during the show are not the expressed views and policies of the Firearms Radio Network, only of its hosts, or one specific host, really, the owner of the show.
Moving on.
Terrible.
Anyways, so fire resistant safes, there's just a whole, gamut. It runs the whole gamut. From budget to really, really, really high end. And by the way, you can get some fire safes on Amazon with free Prime shipping,
Which is pretty bomb. Like,
right.
it's worth paying for a year of Prime just to get the deal on the fire safe for the shipping costs.
Right.
The other thing to remember with those frequently, by the way, is they are so heavy. I think mine that I just described weighs in the ballpark of 900 pounds. So in order to move it, put it on some casters to be like, build a platform on it that has heavy rated casters, or I'm not saying I did that, but it would be an awesome idea. Now I kind of wish that I did. But pallet jacks, but there are actually safe moving companies. Guarantee there's one in your area if you're listening, where they will move, and it's kind of expensive. If you're budgeting for this thing, it's good to build that moving cost into. It's good to build that cost, that moving cost, into what you're willing to pay for your safe. And I think my cost for moving that safe, for picking it up where it was shipped to, bringing it to my house, and then putting it where I wanted it, whether there's stairs or not, they give estimates. Mine was only like $225 because it was same level as the parking area. So lowered it off. He had like a Tommy gate or a lift gate on the back of their truck, lowered it down, put it on a pallet jack, wheeled it in, and we all kind of shuffled it into place. So anyway, just a side note about those. You talked about Amazon Prime shipping those fire safes for free.
I've heard a trick. I haven't tried this, but I heard you can get a bunch of golf balls and lower the safe onto the golf balls, and you can kind of move them as you go.
Feel like that.
Move
Feel
the
like
safe.
that works pretty well on stairs.
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
Oh my gosh, you're impossible.
So, vault style safes, quick access safes, specialty safes. So, like I was just talking about, with a vault door built in a basement, stuff like that. So there's a lot of quick access, like biometric safes. There's some that have 3, 4, 5 keypad buttons. Some flip down, kind of cool, where you can like draw the gun out. Where you could have it mounted like on your desk, or under your desk or something. A lot of options. There's also mechanical style quick access safes, where it doesn't rely on batteries, but more of a mechanical set of buttons that you push, so it's EMP proof. And then the traditional dial. So there's lots of different opening mechanisms. So all that you have to think about. Biometric. How well does that work? And stuff like that, because that's going to vary a lot too from manufacturer to manufacturer.
Yeah, and always remember too that batteries don't last forever. So if you have a keypad that is electronic and you're not plugged into the wall, then or the power is out, or
Or
it's not
EMP strikes.
EMP. Mine's cool with the keypad. It has, so I have basically a key for it that's hidden in the bowels of my home. So if that were to happen, you can pop the electronic thing off and then get into the key. But there's like this whole other process too, so that if somebody were to like on their own pop the keypad off, try to open it, there are other security measures, mechanical security measures in place, which is kind of cool.
Cool. So for my one of my safes, it's biometric, and it is not that reliable. And that's something I read in a lot of the reviews. Like, it's, and as far as not reliable, it's, it doesn't work every time. It doesn't open every time. You gotta, you're like, come on, read my thumb. You did it last time.
Yeah, come on.
So, if it's something where you need quick access, it's something to really consider.
Yeah, a lot of the does your biometric one? I have one that is that. I can't remember the brand for the life of me. Thank goodness it wasn't one of the ones in one of the videos that you have listed. But
Yeah.
but it also has keypad too. Like
Okay.
it has that in addition to, and then also a manual key.
Well,
Which
mine has a hidden manual key
right.
override. Yeah, which I haven't had to use yet, but I should probably change my batteries. Now that I think about it.
Dude, you're a train wreck.
So, breaking into gun safes, we have a bunch of videos in the show notes, cracking into Century safes, into a bunch of different brands of safes. Some guys, some of these safes you can break into it with nothing more than a paper clip. Just knowing where the servos are and the releases are. Some of these you can just break in with a paper clip. There's one guy that uses this big heavy magnet that he can open most all of the fire safes and stuff, because a lot of those have like a spring or some kind of pin that he can get to move with a magnet and just open it. And the thing with those are, if you can get to open with a magnet, you leave no trace that it's been opened and reclosed.
Well, and this is really beneficial too for any criminals that we have that listen to the show, because we're providing all this fodder for you in the show notes. And if you guys have safes that are available for you to break into, this is really going to help. It's really going to help the efficiency of your next burglaries.
Thanks. Because every time I share one of these safe cracking videos, there's some wise guy that comments, "Oh, thanks. Now you're telling the bad guys how to break into my safe."
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of them are lazy, so they're not going to do the work for themselves. I'm just glad we can really provide some recon in addition.
Because that's so much of our listener base.
I know.
There's a really great DEF CON 19 talk here. It's a long video. It's about 38 minutes long, and I'm not safe for work language, but the guy really goes in depth through all these different safes, whether it's opened with a key, biometric. He goes so far as duplicating fingerprints with like gel and stuff, and he gets some of the biometrics to open with a fake finger and James Bond type stuff. So
it's cool because they show that some of the far-fetched things that we see in movies actually can work.
Right. And then some of the locks you just need I forget what it is, but it looks like a funny looking screwdriver, and you can just pop those things open, no problem. Uh, some of the traditional safes with a big dial on the front have a reset that You can reset using, a bent piece of steel and stuff through the crack of the safe. So there's just all kinds of crazy things to take into account, and it might be a good idea to when you decide, especially if it's like a big like $1,000 $2,000 safe purchase, you might want to Google how to break into that safe before you
Nice.
make that big purchase.
Love that.
Well, anyways, we should probably wrap this up. So, all this to say, what are some realistic gun storage solutions for you listening? And, you know, like I said before, everyone's kind of probably at a different stage of life. If you're like me with a bunch of kids running around, you're going to have a lot more limited spectrum of how you store a gun safely than if you're a single guy that's just, you know, just living, on your own. It's going to be far different. You're going to have probably far more options. And we didn't even get into like legalities of some of these cities that have weird storage laws and stuff like that. There's like California DOJ approved lists of gun storage safes and cabinets and all that stuff too, that if you live in more restrictive states that you might have to pay attention to.
Like it.
You what?
I said I like it. Great advice.
So yeah, final thoughts, Ebs?
Don't just be thoughtful, be strategic, here's a great word for you, tactical about your storage solutions. Find secure options, and at the same time find ways to be secure while still providing access to your defense firearms in a pinch. I mean, I understand range toys. I understand things that have a wow factor or are super cool, but at the same time, they have a purpose, and that purpose is moot if you're unable to get them to put them into play.
Absolutely. So that about wraps up this week's main topic. Next week, I want to carry my first gun. So we're gonna talk about everything from seeking out training to carry options, carry some legalities. Won't get too state specific, but we'll link to resources for your state. But yeah, if you're a newer gun guy, gun gal, or maybe you've shot guns, had guns for years, and now you're just now either able to carry because, like Illinois here, the last couple of years, you now have the opportunity to, or maybe you've decided to take this leap. So should be a good episode. Tune into that next week. We have revamped our Patreon perks. If you'd like to support this program show, patreon.com/gun. You can pledge as little as $1 per episode, and we have all kinds of perks. We have $5 levels that you can either get a Firearms Radio Network shirt or Gun Guy Radio patch. $8 level lets you hang out with us after the show. And another $8 level is a supply drop full of swag and goodies, range bag, cleaning kits, stuff like that. $10 patch of the month club, $12 t-shirt of the month club, or the big option here is a $15 ammo dump where have all kinds of goodies in that. Could be range bags, shooting mats, maybe even tactical flashlights, optics. It could just depends on what companies provide, but every 3 months we'll send you a big box full of goodies to your door. So check it out, patreon.com/gun. And Patriot Patch Company helps make this episode possible. Check out our t-shirt line. We just added half a dozen new t-shirt designs in the last month here. patriotpatch.co. Check out all the awesome Pro Gun t-shirts there. And if you need any website design, graphics, art, need a new website, new logo, anything like that, check out hunterofdesign.com. Ryan Cross, hunterofdesign.com. Well, Ebs, thank you so much. Where can people connect with you online?
Easy to find at all the social media platforms as House of Guns, HAUSOFGUNS, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and now on Snapchat as Everyday Ebbs, EBBS.
Remember to subscribe to us on iTunes, or I encourage you to check out other podcatcher apps like Downcast, Pocket Cast. There's a lot of better podcasting apps than what Apple provides. Leave us a review on those platforms as well. Subscribe there. Please consider joining the NRA and Second Amendment Foundation. And don't forget to check out all the other awesome shows here on the Firearms Radio Network. And also shop with our Amazon affiliate link, bookmark firearmsradio.tv/Amazon. Thank you, Ebbs.
You are welcome, Jacob.
That's a wrap. We'll see you next week.